Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Trio Planet, the YouTube channel where we talk all things media. And another week and another episode of The Bad Batch, episode 10. We're steadily approaching that last episode, tentatively. This episode is called Retrieval. I'm joined by my good friend Jordan.
Hey, everybody.
And yeah, we'll get right into the nitty-gritty. This episode takes place sort of directly after last week's episode 9, The Crossing. Obviously, episode 10, Retrieval. Title card it somewhere, John. You know what to do. So, this episode, the synopsis was attempting to recover a lost asset. The Batch must learn to trust a thief. So, it was a pretty good premise to lead off of last week's episode, which, I won't lie, wasn't my favourite. It was, it was a bit, dull, a bit boring. This week, glad to say, much needed payoff. It was very, very good. Enjoyed it very much. A lot of intrigue. We open with the Bad Batch trying to repair a speeder.
Another thing I want to say that I feel like this season has felt kind of a thing of to get people into Star Wars for the time to get ready for Mando.
Yeah, I feel like that is 100% what the Bad Batch is in this season.
Because I think it happened last time.
It's putting people in a Star Wars mood to prepare for their big release, which in this case is Mandalorian.
Like Clone Wars was just something that was amazing, and it seems to be that Bad Batch is kind of trying to do that magic again. But it's not doing it in the right way.
It's not as effective as Clone Wars, because Clone Wars had the premise. It was like, you're going to...
Clone Wars being a villain or mission of the week made sense.
Yeah.
Because it was during war.
Then again, it wasn't all, disconnected. You had your trilogies that happened. You had the Maul saga, and you had the inhibitor chip saga, and you had all of this story put together.
Same with Rebels that had the same as well, where it had its arcs. Like when Rebels started, it had I think for me the first part of Rebels is about them realizing they're actually not the only Rebel Alliance out there. They're not it felt like a test for them to be able to join the bigger army.
And I think it's shown in the recent set of episodes, episode 7 and 8 were disconnected and yet connected from the rest of the story, but they were connected together in their own story. Same with episode 9 and episode 10. Connected in their own story, but not necessarily connected to an overarching story, which I think the story they're trying to go for this season is the phasing out of clones. I think that's the story they're trying to tell.
Here's the thing as well. I did see a video on TikTok the other day, and this apparently they may have retconned where the name Stormtrooper came from. Because I think Palpatine took the name for a reason and wanted to name his new people Stormtroopers because there was a storm on Kamino.
Well, that was the story they went with. The story that the Empire went with for why Kamino's cities were destroyed was that there was a massive storm. And I think it's a massive fuck you from Palpatine.
It's a massive fuck you from Palpatine. So he just took Trooper from Clone Trooper and just added Storm on the beginning.
And be like, I'm honouring the Kaminoans.
Yeah, he's honouring them, but really it's just a fuck off to the clones.
Yeah, but this episode, Retrieval, was about the Bad Batch trying to get the Marauder back. Of course, Omega thinks it's their home, and the Bad Batch just don't want to be stranded on the planet forever. So they realize that their droid is still on the Marauder, and that they can track its binary code. And so Omega does that. She gets a hit. They got on, admittedly, probably not the safest mode of transportation. The speeder does look like it's about to fall to pieces. But they somehow reach their destination, and it's a massive mining complex. It is a massive Ipsium mine. Yep, they're throwing that word in there again.
Ipsium.
The word of the mineral from last week. We'll keep calling it the mineral. And apparently this mineral mine has a degrading state happening. So all of the mineral in the mine is not as pure as it was. Yeah.
Air quotes.
Degrading, air quotes. So the Bad Batch finds the thief that stole the ship, and he's got the droid because the bad guy of this episode was like, yeah, you can have the droid because you brought me the ship. So he was able to keep the droid because the big bad of this episode was keeping that ship because he wanted to sell the parts for credits and stuff.
Yeah.
This guy exerts power over the people in this mine by basically giving the person that earns him the most money food and water and stuff like that. It's a very similar tactic to what the Empire does. The Empire limits resources to make people loyal to them. This guy in question, however, bit of a dick. Not gonna lie. Sort of an arsehole.
He's basically like the Empire, but on a smaller scale.
Yeah, he has an entire room that is full of different foods, and he is just eating.
He even lies to them, saying that he actually has no food.
Yeah.
He lies to them and says that he also starves, but he obviously doesn't.
We put him up there as much of a dick as Palpatine. So the Bad Batch go into the place. They decide to use the covert approach of rappelling down an exhaust stack, Batman Arkham City style, and they get inside the building after a brief fistfight where Hunter absolutely annihilates one of the droids. And I mean, this droid did not deserve the disrespect, but he got it anyway. So they're sneaking around. Omega splits off with the thief, whose name I can't remember if it was even told. Thief, by the way, voiced by the same voice actor who voiced Spider-Man in the Insomniac PS4 game.
Yeah, Yuri Lowenthal.
Yeah, I couldn't see anything else when I looked at that character other than Spider-Man.
Yeah, I heard his voice and I paused it and I was like, "Will, is that?" And then I was like, "Yeah, that's Spider-Man." And then all I saw was Spider-Man.
He was just Spider-Man. So him and Omega go to find the supplies that had been already lifted off the Marauder, while Tech and Wrecker put the ship back together while Hunter keeps watch. As you can probably guess, it is a Star Wars show. Shit doesn't go to plan. So, what happens? Well, Omega's captured by Mako, which is the bad guy, and is about to be thrown off the edge of a it's like a plank from Pirates of the Caribbean.
I think it's like a bridge.
Yeah, it's like a bridge, but it's just a plank from Pirates of the Caribbean. She's going to be thrown into hot lava, basically. And Tech and Wrecker are going to be sent down to the mines for tenure for trying to steal from this guy. But then out of nowhere, the thief that betrayed them comes out and is like, "This guy's lying to us. The mineral isn't degrading. He's keeping the profits for himself." And then they're all like, "Oh my god, I had no idea." Bad guy's bad.
To me, in that moment, like I knew something was going to happen, but I felt like the fucking other kids would have like betrayed that one kid and like would have stuck with the bad guy, and I felt like that's the type of people that they were.
Yeah, no. They're all decent people. So Omega throws herself off the edge of the bridge anyway, and Hunter catches her. Mako falls over the edge, and the thief kid tries to save him. Mental case, that kid. Mental.
And that's when I said, "Kid, don't save him. He's an asshole. And let him die."
Mako falls to his death. Yay. Bad Batch get their shit back. See you next week for the next adventures.
Yeah, they're off back
End
to.
credits.
They're off back to.
Probably Sid.
Back to Sid, yeah. But they're going back to Sid, and I feel how many episodes are left?
6.
6.
6 episodes left.
Ah. Yay.
But the last 2 episodes are out on the same day, so only 5 weeks.
So we have another double episode to review.
Only one though.
Okay.
So, what do you think of the episode overall, Jordan?
Overall, it was fine. As a continuation of the last episode, it was fine. Omega wasn't being, as
Annoying.
Yeah, as annoyed as she is. She wasn't being, Obviously, I get why she's being that way because it's like the ship is her home, it's their home, and all that and whatever. And Tech didn't seem like he cared and everything. I think the show is definitely in its own little pocket. It's doing its own thing while also still trying to connect. I don't know, and as you guys know, this episode is out on the day that the Bad Batch were actually first introduced into Clone Wars. So I saw that on Twitter, and I thought that was cool that today is actually the first time that they actually appeared on Clone Wars, first time we ever saw the Bad Batch. I just think this episode could have been a lot better. It was cool to have Yuri Lowenthal in it. I think he did an amazing job, as always. You can always tell it's him because he's got such a distinct voice. And he, yeah. I don't know what else to say about this episode. I feel like this episode was just in its little pocket. It was definitely a niche-ish episode. And I definitely can't wait for the more episodes to come, because I feel like the more episodes we get down the line, the more we might get more connected
Well, it seems,
back to the main story.
Looking at like the IMDb page for it, it looks like the last 3 episodes are in entire arc. Because episode 14 is titled Tipping Point, episode 15 is The Summit, and episode 16 is Plan 99, which I assume is going to be in memoriam to Clone 99, the defective clone,
the old guy
sacrificed himself during the Battle of Camino and basically paved the way for defective clones to be used in actual training.
Yeah, rest in peace, Clone 99.
So I do think the next few episodes are going to be quite connected. Like episode 11's titled Metamorphosis, which to me tells me that something interesting is going to happen.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. Like, we've got 3 more episodes, and then we've got that, whatever that is. So, never know. But what are your thoughts?
I thought this one was good. I thought, I still strongly believe that episode 8 is the strongest episode of the Bad Batch overall.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you with that.
I think the entire thing of Palpatine having the reverence he deserved, and like the entire story of trying to get this admiral arrested for destroying Camino and like avenging all those clones that were lost, was very, very good. This episode felt very, very similar. It was the Bad Batch doing something that they didn't necessarily need to do. They didn't need to think, because they could have always saved Omega if she got thrown off the edge, and they could have always escaped. But for them to not just like take the ship back and fly away, but to also have Omega help them shows the depth of Omega's character.
Yeah, they're definitely giving Omega. They're not trying to push her away and keep her safe now. It's like she is one of them. She's capable of doing things on her own. She's got her own weapon. She's got her own skills. They even sent her off to do something on herself with that guy, obviously, and she got caught, but still, they still trusted her enough to be allowed to just go and do what she wanted. So it's cool to see that they are starting to trust her to do her own thing.
It's very, very clear that she's proven herself to the Bad Batch, and that she's now just another soldier. She's not just a kid. She's a very capable person in her own right. And I think that's going to shine even further through as we continue to get seasons and episodes until the very end. If I was to rate the episode, like a 7.1. It was just slightly probably better than above average.
I'm going to have to agree with you on that, yeah, because it was slightly better than above average, but I wouldn't call it anything story breaking.
Yeah.
At least I know we keep on comparing it to Clone Wars, but really that's the only thing we can compare it to. Especially we can only really compare it to Clone Wars. Obviously them two are more connected, but Clone Wars stories, they felt necessary because obviously we're during war and all that good stuff. With Bad Batch, I want to see more of how the Empire got rid of the clones and actually how they're doing it.
Yeah,
but
because you've got to remember, right? The Bad Batch weren't going to be made originally. Like the Kaminoans deleted every defective clone up until the Battle for Kamino, where the realization hit that these defective clones could be quite useful. And it's proven in the Bad Batch they've all got enhanced abilities. My favourite thing is the fact that Omega is a defective clone.
Yep.
But we don't know what her mutation is.
No, we don't. She was supposed to be what Boba was.
Yeah.
But obviously, she was defective and he wasn't, so he got to be kept whilst she got thrown away. And they kept her alive. So we don't know what her defect is yet, because you've got Tech, he's the smart one, he's the scientist, he's the logic kind of guy. You've got Hunter, who is very fucking good at hunting. He can smell stuff from far away and hearing and
his
stuff.
His mutation is basically the same as Force Sense from a Jedi. He can basically feel the changes in electromagnetic waves. So if someone's coming, he can sense them.
And then you've got Wrecker, who is big, he's just a brute. That's why he's so big. He's a big, massive brute, but he's still got the mind of a child. Kind of. He's
and you had Crosshair, who had just good eyesight.
He just had amazing, eagle eyesight. He was very good at sniping.
And then you had Echo, who wasn't defective.
Echo wasn't really a defective clone. It's just that he had cybernetics.
He was so different that he wouldn't fit in anywhere else.
He wasn't like his other clone brothers anymore. He basically he was turned into a Bad Batch clone with cybernetics.
And I think that as we get further, they're going to explain Omega's mutation. And they're going to be like, yeah, Omega can... Because Omega's able to pick up weaponry. And like use it with very little issue. Like she picked
Yeah,
up
she
that
picked
bow,
up that bow so easily and was able to
And
use it easy.
she was able to use it without any issue whatsoever.
So maybe
But, like,
she's able to learn. Maybe her thing is that she's able to learn
I was
weaponry
thinking
or
that.
different things easily. Like she
Because-
can pick up skills just like that.
Watching like season 1 and season 2, I've noticed that she's being taught so many different things, and she's able to do them with very little issue. So I think this episode was good. I think next episode needs to step it up a little bit, and the rest of the season needs to step it up, because we're getting to the point where the overall rating for the season is going to come out.
Because obviously, where we are going to, like, when we get to the final episode, we will do a segment where it's us just reviewing that episode, but then after that, we will basically review and rate the whole the entire season.
And I don't want to be too mean on the season so far, but it's hovering at like a 5 out of 10 overall. Like, there's been too many lulls.
Yeah,
in this.
I preferred season 1 over this.
Yeah.
Season 1 did enough filler with still having the whole Crosshair hunting them down and that, and I don't think we've seen enough of Crosshair.
No.
Crosshair seems to be pushed back.
An episode.
He's being pushed back a lot, and I feel like we need to see more of him, and because I felt sorry for him that he's starting to feel left out, and I'm like, yeah, he's also being left out of the episodes.
We have gone through 10 episodes, and he has been in 1.
Like, I thought he would have been picked up in that 2-parter, cause
yeah,
I thought he was that sniper at top, but he wasn't, and then I was like, where's Crosshair during all this whole thing?
Who knows? Who knows?
But yeah.
But we'll end it there. A bit of a ramble on about the inconsistencies. If you did enjoy this review, make sure to leave a like. And, if you're feeling extra spicy, you can always throw a subscribe. It does help the channel grow. Do you want to stop looking at your camera like that, man? Stop it. I've been one of your hosts, Azteral.
I've been your other host, Slasher, and also Astro. Don't ever say spicy again. And
if you're excited for the remainder of the season, leave a comment. But do remember that food does not exist in Star Wars. Goodbye for now.
Forget 1,000 things every day, pal. Make sure this is one of them.
It's over, Anakin!